Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias, and reaching back into Ted's collection, I have found my eye very drawn to this Empress right here. A relic of a simpler and much missed time. Huge thank you to Ted for allowing me to make videos on some really cool knives in his collection. Man, do I miss Fellowship blades, dude. This is... the Impusa... Well, okay, hold on. The Empress is a very special balisong to me personally because it holds the Empress blade, which, if you don't know my lore, the Impusa, which is the Empress blade on a set of Medusa handles, was really the first, incredible, artistic, amazing balisong that I had in my collection and that was gifted to me by Grant. And it was an experience that I really feel truly lucky to have been thought of for that, because getting this in the mail, this is number 4 because this blade, I guess, was scrap and he wasn't going to use it, so we threw it on a set of handles and he sent it to me, which was just incredibly humbling and just an amazing experience. I was so proud to own this thing, and I still am to this day. Even though you guys don't see me break it out in a ton of Blade Bias videos, it still does get some use. You know, it's got a bunch of gunk on the blade from when I open boxes with it, and it looks this amazing, so I have to put it on display at some point. It definitely does live up here on my little display when I feel comfortable having a knife like this angled like that on a higher up surface. It's a whole thing. I still do get a little bit scared of this thing because this is the balisong that gave me this scar, which is, to this day, I think, knock on metal, the worst that I've ever been cut in the balisong community or in the balisong hobby. So I definitely do feel a little bit of that when I flip it, but I digress. I've been talking way too long about a balisong that isn't the focus of this video. This is a very important balisong for me. So, the actual full-on Empress, which is the real, intended handles for this blade, was always a fascinating balisong to me because it was a much more expensive version of the Impusa, and it was gorgeous. I mean, the blade is one of my favorites in the entire balisong hobby, period. The kukri-ish profile. It's bulky. It's just everything that was great about Fellowship. And then you put it on these handles, which were just immaculate. I mean, even to this day, they're very smooth to the touch. They've got this little, knurled texture on the front. You've got this awesome hole pattern, which does complement the blade pretty well, in my opinion. It's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. And I was so interested in it when it came out, but it just was one of those things that was way too expensive for me to ever get, especially way back then. Because this came out my first or second blade show that I ever went to. You know, when the most expensive thing in my collection, I think at that point, was a Kraken or the Damascus Kraken or something like that. It was just way above what I could ever spend, but it was always a balisong that I was fascinated by. And I'm not going to do a whole typical first impressions and next up impressions, because this is a discontinued balisong. It's a balisong that you can't buy anymore, and I don't think there's a ton of point in reviewing it. Well, I always like to say that I don't review things on this channel, but evaluating it, giving you guys my opinion on it. But what I do want to do is answer the question of which one do I like more, the intended version of the Empress or the Frankenstein Impusa that lives in my collection. Obviously, knowing that I am biased towards my own personal unit, which is just genuinely one of the most gorgeous knives I've ever seen. This green and blue and purple. Oh. I don't know. I think... So there's a very important distinction that I have to make in saying that I enjoy the Empress's handles more because they are thicker, they are less rectangular, and they're a little bit smoother to the touch, which I enjoy. But I think I enjoy the look and the balance of the Impusa more because I'm more used to it. So I think it really comes down to I prefer the Impusa because it's the one that I've owned the longest. It's the one that I'm used to seeing and flipping. And the Empress is one that I'm not used to seeing and flipping. So it always just looks a tiny bit off to me. Man, that sound is amazing. That being said, it is still a wonderful balisong, and I do really, really like it. I think objectively the balance is just better on the Empress. There's a little bit of weirdness with most of Grant's products when you flip them because they are these fantastical, wild things. But it just doesn't matter because even though they do flip a little weird, they still flip good enough that you can kind of put it at the back of your mind and just enjoy the flipping experience. They're incredible as normal knives, and man, do they just look awesome. It's really the perfect kind of everything that I praise Machine Wise for so much, but in a way flashier package. It is it's the intersection of art and function and beauty, and it's so amazing. And I miss Fellowship blades so much. Man, Grant, I know it's not what you want to do these days, but designs like these, we don't really get that often in the balisong community anymore. And man, do I miss it. So getting to flip this Empress has been a lovely reminder of what it was like to have Fellowship in the hobby. Now, that being said, how does this thing flip for the people who are curious? It's very nice. It still retains that kind of Fellowship blades weirdness to it. Like, there is definitely a kind of oddity to the flipping and the balance that you don't really get on other balisongs. But I think it's the most dialed in that his balisongs have felt to me. The Medusa always felt far too handle biased for me. The Impusa just has a little bit of weirdness in like the blade weight just because the blade is so weird. And this having a little bit more weight in the handles because they're a little thicker and just being an overall a little bit more elegant and premium design, it just flips really well. It's super comfortable. It feels super premium in your hand. And there's not really a trick that I wouldn't trust it to do. Chaplains stick to your fingers, 0Gs just as well. Rollovers, amazing. Choker fans and fans feel as good as they can for a really whacked out blade like that. And I'd even go as far to say that they feel good, which is really nice. So it all comes together to make a really, really unique balisong that would really be unlike anything else in your collection just for its looks alone, much less anything else that it offers through its incredible experiences. And I will forever be honored to be able to own something that still to this day is like the peak of my collection, even with everything that I've collected since. So we miss you, Grant. I certainly miss having a maker like you in the hobby. Anyway, nostalgia memory lane over. Huge thank you to Ted for letting me make videos with his Empress. And I hope to see you all the next time that we crack open this case. I'll see you in the next one. Later.